Okay, check. Not that you can hear me. What's up, socials? Happy Savvy Tuesday. I'm at Podcast Movement 2014 in Dallas, Texas, and I'm going to ask some really awesome podcasters what it is that's the most important thing that their audience does after they listen to an episode. Chris, when someone listens to the Cerrone Show, what's the ideal situation after the episode is over? What do you want them to do next that moves the needle for your business?
Immediately go to my website. Everything's on my website. Whether I'm directing them towards like my email list or I got something new coming up, it's all the website for me.
How do you collect their information once they get there?
Email. I give a little freebie of the tools that I used to grow my audience. I think it's like 13,000 something days, which is still on there and it still applies. So that's what I give them away.
Tell somebody else about it. Because, I think that we spend a lot of time obsessing about tactics and techniques to figure out how to get new listeners. And it's like, hey, you're a complete stranger and there's no point of referral. It's kind of like, oh, I'm trying to sell you on an idea. You just stumbled upon this thing. Whereas if somebody says, you got to listen to this, that's way more powerful. And our community is growing entirely through word of mouth. It's one person goes to another. It's like, hey, you got to listen to this. And what's amazing about it is they're addicted to it. So, I think that, that's one of the things we commonly hear is, I don't understand why, but this is incredibly addictive, which no complaints. That's exactly what we want. But I think there's something to be said for having such an impact on somebody that they will go and tell another person about it. To me, that's the most powerful thing you can do, because that kind of marketing you can't buy. You can't pay somebody to do that. That means you've got a true fan. That means they're like, we're here to spread the word because we think what you're doing actually matters so much that we think other people need to hear it. So to me, that's the ideal scenario. There's, of course, all these other things you could do. You could buy books, you could do all that stuff, but the reality is, for what we want to build, the more people that find out, the better. And the most ideal thing for me personally is that somebody goes and tells another person.
We have a landing page for every episode. We send them from the episode to a landing page that's specific to that episode. So when they go there, they're going to download something that will help them with that episode, but they'll get into our mailing list.
Because ideally, I would love them to love what I have to say,
right,
and then join my mastermind group, which would be great. That would be obviously awesome. However, I think the biggest impact I could have is, I think there's sort of three pillars of what I consider success. And it's time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. Time freedom's really easy. Okay, do you work blue? Is this a PG-13 show?
Well, I'll take care of it if you want to drop some bombs.
Okay, good. Because the first one with the time freedom is you can just go to your boss's office and tell them to go f*** themselves.
Yes.
The location freedom is you can actually get in your car and move anywhere you want. There's some logistics sometimes. The financial freedom part's the hard part, and that's what I hope that I bring enough people on the show and they have an idea, at least a sketch of how they could start going down that road where they could be financially free.
That's all for today's socials. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you subscribe to Amy's Elite so you don't miss a beat, so you can get all my videos. I'm going to have more interviews coming out this week, so please stay tuned for that. And I will see you tomorrow for Sexy Wednesday.